We are back again, and it's Josephine on Forcing Solutions. They're going to talk about file and folder sharing. One will ask, what is file and folder sharing? It's a means of giving access of a file or folder to someone or a group of people who are on the same network as you are. Let's take, for instance, you have a nice video or document that you want your colleagues around you or those at work to have access to it. You might consider going for a pen drive and then copying this document on it, and then you hand it over to them manually to have access to it. This procedure is very time consuming and is referred to as sneakernet. We're going to look for an alternative of doing this same share, taking into consideration the security risks involved. Now, when you are sharing a file or folder, there are two permission suites that are in use. We have the share permissions and then the NTFS permissions. With the share permissions applied when you're accessing the file or folder across the network, and the NTFS permission is applied when you're accessing the file or folder locally on your servers. Now, moving forward, you're going to get to know the reasons why we implement them and then how to implement them. Let's start by creating a folder on the desktop since it's easily accessible from here. We right click on any blank space on the desktop, click on new, and then folder. I'm going to name this folder update. Sorry. And then we press enter. I have this text document here, so I'm just going to drag and then drop it in there just to be able to know how to access them when we finish with the share. Let's move forward to sharing this folder. We right click on the folder, we click on properties, and then from the sharing tab, we click on share. We want everyone else to have access to this, so we type in here everyone. We click on add, and then here we're going to assign the share permissions. It doesn't really have any security guaranteed on it, so we are going to give read and write permissions, which is equal to full control from this side. So I just click on it and then share. Now we click on done. From the advanced sharing, with this particular share this folder, when we click on this, it's going to isolate our folder, our shared folder, in a way that's going to be easily accessible. But if we don't click on share this folder, it means we'll have to know exactly where this folder is being shared from the person's computer to be able to have access to it. So to be able to make it easier, we're just going to click on share this folder, we apply, and then we click on OK. Now, we are moving to the NTFS permissions where security is guaranteed. So we click on the security tab, click on everyone, and then we click on edit. Now, due to security reasons, we are just going to apply read and then write permissions to this folder. So we uncheck these boxes and then only check for the read and then write. But with reference to the particular folder and then those who are going to access the folder and probably what you want them to do with the folder, it's going to give you a detailed idea on the permissions that you want them to have access to. So we just click on apply and then OK. Now we are just done with this part too. So we are going to make sure that the prerequisites that are needed to make this share a success are all in place. So to do that, we are just going to click on File Explorer, just this File Explorer, and then right click on the network and click on Properties. My machine is a bit sluggy, so excuse me for a minute. So from this place, we click on Advanced Sharing Settings, and then we have to take notice of the current profile that we are on. We are on the private profile. If you are not on this profile, then let's go to how to change it and then get to a private profile. So we right click on the start button and then we click on network connections. After clicking on network, we are connected through the cable. That is from me. I'm connected through the cable. So I'll click on Ethernet and then the network. Now this is where you change it from. So if you're on public, you just click on the private side of it and then you will be fine. Now the thing is, since I'm connected to the cable network, this is what I'm going to get. But those who are connected to the Wi-Fi, you're going to see something like this. This is the interface you see when you are connected to the Wi-Fi or the wireless network. So instead of clicking on Ethernet, you rather click on Wi-Fi, and then you click on the current network that you are connected to. When you click on it, it's going to give you this same interface. So then you pick one, either from the public or the private, but you are going to work with the private. The reason being that with the public, imagine you being in a complex society where there are so many network connections, so many computers connected to each other, and then the whole place is a mess. Imagine the number of people who are going to get this shared folder that you are sharing. It's going to be marvelous. Like, there are so many people. So just to make it much easier and then secured for security, we're just going to we are going to enter the private profile site so that those who are just in our small network, our private networks, are going to have access to this folder. Now, let's take a step back. After you have made changes, it might reflect immediately, it might not. If it doesn't, you just click on this refresh button over here, or you move back a step. That is, you click on this arrow and then move back, and then you come back inside again, and then the changes will effect. So we are going to make sure that network discovery is turned on. Network discovery makes our computer seen on the network. Imagine how it's going to be like if you share the folder and then nobody can see your computer, not to talk of even getting to see the particular folder. So we are just going to we'll turn it on. Then the file and printer sharing is going to make sure that whatever you've shared is seen and then being able to be accessed. Now, since these two are being turned on, we go to all networks. Under all networks, we make sure folder sharing is turned on. I'm not going to talk about these two, but with the password protected sharing, you could turn it on or off. If you turn it on, it means anyone who is going to have access to the folder has to know your username and then your password to be able to access it. I'm not going to make it so complex, so I'm just going to turn mine off. When you are done, you just save changes. But since I've already done everything, so I'm just going to click on cancel, and then I'm going to move on. Now, there's one thing we are supposed to also know before we move to accessing the folder. We're supposed to make sure that we know this computer's name or IP address. So that if we're able to get to the other computer, we don't have to be asking ourselves, where is the folder? Where is the folder? No, we just know where to move from there. So from your keyboard, you see a Windows key and then R. So you click on those two, and then you type in here MS Info 32. Then you press enter. So this is the computer's name, which is also known as system name. So this is let's take note of this name. Now, we move to the next step of accessing the folder. Okay, so now here we are trying to access the particular folder. So we click on File Explorer, and then over here, since we already know the computer's name, we just enter a double backslash and then the computer's name, and then we press enter. Now, this is the particular folder that was shared, that is update. Then you can access the text documents, and then that is it. So if we didn't click on share this folder, we would have to know where the folder is located. So then we have to go through users, and then the user, then desktop, before we'll be able to access the folder. Now, let's try and do this. Since we wouldn't want to always be entering the computer's name and then going back and forth, we'll just try and then map this folder so that anytime we need it, we can just have access to it. So we click on this folder, and then we click on map the network drive. So this is what we are going to see. It has already done everything for us. So we click on finish, and then we are done. So let's do this. I'm going to create a folder in the other computer, and then we're going to see if it will come here. So here we are. Since I've already gone through creating a folder, I'm going to go through a shortcut, and then I'm going to use the Control Shift and then N. I've just done it. So I'm going to name it hello. then I press enter. Now let's see if we are going to see it on the other side. And then voila, this is it. Now this is it. We just created. And then since we already have access to, and then we've mapped the folder, it's much easier. It's not as if the person has done it, we are no longer there, so we have to just go through the whole process all over again. So this is how it typically works. And if you have access to the IP address, you just enter the same double backslash, then you put in there the IP address, and then everything else is as beautiful as it comes. So I hope we learned something today, and then if you enjoy what I'm doing, you can just subscribe to my channel, and then we move from there. So thank you very much, and then have a nice day.